Social media can be so funny. It can really fuck with your mind. So I try to block it out. I'm in an industry, as a hair and makeup artist, where we need to use social media to get our name out there and promote ourselves. A lot of it's self-promotion. That's why I always call it Insta spam when I'm talking to somebody and they're like, oh, how can I get a hold of you? I'm like, oh, check out my Insta spam, because that's kind of what it is. I always find it interesting because whenever I post about my podcast or a new podcast coming out, not on my Fuck You 50s Instagram account, but I have my like A Claire Beauty account. I swear to God, every single time I post about a new podcast episode, I lose between 1 to 10 followers. Now, I can also gain between 1 to 10 followers. So, whatever. But often for work in this day and age, clients also want to know what your Instagram account is because they want to see what your followers are like. And I feel like, how is that a metric for your capability? It's not really. I feel like people are getting bored with social media. So even the engagement is down a bit. But it's still one of those necessary evils with my industry. And again, like when I speak about my industry, so I've been doing hair and makeup for over 35 years now, and I still love it. I love it very much. It's the industry has changed like so much from when I first got into it. AI definitely has played a lot, influence on the industry just more lately. And so work opportunities definitely have declined. You have a lot of new people that want to be hair and makeup artists as well. And they come into the industry undercutting, doing things for free or like a fraction of the price because they think it's going to get them ahead and get them work. And sure, maybe in a way it kind of does, but it actually hurts the entire industry because when you start undercutting the industry, then clients are like, oh, well, why would we pay you this when this person did this? And often people with less experience have less expertise. And just with the nature of also the industry, there's a lot of Photoshop and AI retouching because if somebody is not particularly great at their craft, but they're cheaper, then clients are like, fuck it. We'll just fix that in post, which is frustrating. Anyway, so I find like a lot of things that I've been trying to do with my podcast because I'm really enjoying doing it. And thank you so much for those that are listening and supporting. I started thinking about this concept for this podcast during the pandemic. I guess I just didn't really think too much about it. It was kind of in and out of my mind. And, finally it comes to fruition. Anyway, I decided that I was going to try and do, I guess like a typical thing that my industry does is that you hire a PR person to help get the name out for something. So there's 2 PR agencies here in Toronto who I will not mention, but I have done stuff with them previously in the past. I messaged one and was like, hey, so I'm launching, this is when I was launching the podcast. I'm like, so I'm launching a podcast and I was wondering if you could tell me what your rates are to help me put a press kit together. And then I was also saying, I also might want to consider doing an event, like just a small, intimate, I don't know what, but sometimes that's also up to the PR agency to kind of give you that pitch. Anyway, what they came back was, what they came back with was, PR is really expensive. Okay. Does that mean you're not going to give me a quote? Like it just so weird. So anyway, I just said, yeah, I understand that PR is it's not cheap, but would you be able to give me a quote? And still they kind of stood by. It's really expensive. Okay. So, it is so funny. Here's an opportunity to say to somebody, sorry, our dance card is so full right now. We don't have time to take on a new client, but we wish you all the best. The other, PR agency, actually, I don't think they responded. As I recall, they just did not respond. Period. But I just find it funny when people make comments about how it's too expensive. I was doing sorry, I'm kind of all over the map on this one. I'm raw dogging this. I didn't even write this out because sometimes I write it out and just kind of read it. But we've been ongoing with renovations on our house because of the flood last year, and I had tile put in my basement where I went into a place and I was looking at some tile, had some shitty customer service, but found a tile I really liked. And I asked them how much it was. And they came back with, it was really expensive. I'm like, sorry, like what the fuck is up with these people? I call it my my pretty woman syndrome, although maybe I was more the pretty woman 20 years ago. But I just find it so funny that the answer that people have is like, it's too expensive. It's not up to you to judge what the person in front of you can or cannot fucking afford. So answer the fucking question. Everything has a price. Just give it. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's my long-winded getting to a little bit of a rant. Oh my God. It's just going to, it's just going to be one of those. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Welcome to the Fuck You 50s, the podcast for women who refuse to tolerate the bullshit anymore. This is real talk, real stories, and a long overdue reality check. I'm your host, Andrea Claire, and this podcast is the filter-free voice you've been waiting for, with a dose of F-bombs. The Fuck You 50s. Unfiltered, unapologetic, and undeniably needed.
My guest today is Iryna Kirieieva, the founder of Steps to New Horizons. Originally from Ukraine, she had relocated to the U.S. in 2022 with her youngest son. What was meant to be a short visit turned into the start of a new life because of the war. She had to leave behind everything familiar, her home, her career, and she had also lost her husband during that time. Starting over at this stage of life has been incredibly hard, but she also says very meaningful. She's a mother of 3. And for her, she states that rebuilding meant showing her kids and herself that it's possible to begin again. She had worked for over 20 years in banking and ran her own business in Ukraine. After arriving in the U.S., she worked as a financial advisor at Vanguard and now has launched a nonprofit to help immigrants, women in transition, and young people gain financial confidence. Her English isn't perfect, but she has learned that starting over isn't about perfection. It's about showing up and doing what you can with what you have. I adored my conversation with Iryna. Her journey and perspective is very inspirational. So very exciting. While I was editing this episode, Iryna sent me an update and she says, to be precise, program fees for courses are not tax deductible, while voluntary donations to Steps to New Horizons are deductible under the new 501c3 status that they have. At the same time, she wants to emphasize that their mission is to make financial literacy accessible for vulnerable newcomers, people in transition, and young adults. Their courses will be offered free of charge, supported by donations. That is amazing, Iryna. Congratulations and welcome to the Fuck You 50s.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure me to be there. I'm sorry. I know that I have a very strong accent.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Thank you.
It's we live in a multicultural world, right? So and also the world has become a lot more flat because of the internet and podcasts and Zoom and whatever. So I come from Toronto, being Canadian. We have lots of accents here, and I know you're in the US now, lots of accents there. I lived in Singapore for 15 years. It's like accents are just a part of life. And I know you say you have an accent, but I'm sure me to you, I have an accent, right? Everybody on the planet has an accent.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you come from Ukraine, right?
Yes.
And you moved to the US because of the war,
Yes.
right?
Yes, exactly. Actually, okay, if we come back to my story,
Yes, please.
just before the war started, we went with my smallest son for usual 1 week ski holiday in Europe. It was a school vacation and we did this trip every year. So at the last minute, my husband decided not to join us. He said he didn't feel right leaving the country in such tense situation, so we went without him. In the middle of our vacation, war began. Yeah. We went for vacation 19th of February and 22nd of February the war started. So one night we woke up to phone calls and the news reports with the images that my beautiful city been bombed. So we couldn't come back at home. We just sat there in the mountains, in the middle of the mountains with another family of our friends, and asking ourselves what we have to do, what we do right now. We are trying to prolong now stay in this resort, but it was impossible. It was fully booked. So we didn't know what to do. And actually, because, in the crisis, you always prefer to be with your family.
Of
I
course.
have a sister who lives in the US, and I said, okay, I will go to my sister just for a couple of weeks, because I couldn't believe that in the middle of Europe it could be longer than 2 weeks. We remember like Georgian war, so we assume that everything will be finished very, very soon. Yeah. So we came here to US to my sister. I had like return ticket within 2 weeks, but within 1 week, my husband in Ukraine, who stays in Ukraine, was killed,
I'm so
and
sorry.
we are still there. It is almost 4 years. We didn't plan, but unfortunately, and actually, as I said, I always said in my previous life and my current life, yeah, my previous life, it was in Ukraine, current life, it is here in America.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say the funniest, but the reality is that it is exactly 50 years old.
Right.
So I came here in 49. So it is exactly half of my life, yes. And in 50, I start totally from the scratch.
And you had your youngest with you. And how old was your youngest at the time?
So right now he's 16 years old. He's here together with me. When he came here, he was 12. I have two other kids. They're twins. They're actually 23 years old, and they're living in Canada right now.
Whereabouts are they in Canada?
They're right now in Ottawa. So
Okay.
the one of them, he went to school in Ottawa, maybe since 15 years old, because he still has a dyslexia, and that is why we
Oh,
sent him to Canada. And another one, it is because of the war.
right.
He moved firstly to Sweden, and after that he moved to his brother and went just to university.
Okay. So they're both in Ottawa then right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
both here. Yeah,
Yeah.
there.
So have you been able to see them? I guess like now they're closer.
Actually, yes, but mostly they came to me because
Yeah.
it is very close. They just took a bus, and they actually each and every holiday they came here.
Yeah.
The issue now is that the US 10 years visa to US expires. So now we are sitting in the different country and waiting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there's so much
Yeah.
that you've been dealing with. So I'm so sorry to hear all that. And
Yeah.
I when I was living in Singapore, because I'm by trade, I'm a hair and makeup artist, and I worked with a lot of models from Ukraine and Singapore. And
Hmm.
one when I moved back to Toronto, had come here because of the war. So her and I reconnected again, and it's just awful. And I'm so
Yeah.
sorry about all of that.
Yeah.
It sounds like with your business that it's really like you found a great, I guess, niche, like with your financial background. And I just want to read like your company or your nonprofit properly, like Steps to New Horizons,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is great. It's so powerful and moving forward. And I just love the fact that you have some literacy, like financial literacy advice that you give to clients, right? So maybe I guess talk a bit about that. Talk about your nonprofit.
Okay, so actually, when I came here to US, yes, you most probably know from my bio that like more than 20 years I was working in the banking in Ukraine. Yes,
Yeah.
I started in finance and moved forward to CEO and CEO of the bank. And actually, when I came here, of course, I didn't plan to do anything here. It was like vacation, but in the one moment, actually, it was like because it was a terrible time for me. Yes, I couldn't do a lot of things. Yes, I prefer to just rely on the coach. But in some moment, I decided that I have to do something, otherwise I will not survive. And the way of surviving for me, it was just to start studying. Yeah. And the easiest way for me, because I'm from finance, to study something with finance. That is why I started to be licensed as financial advisor. I passed all these exams for the financial advisor, and I start working as a financial advisor. And one of the also reasons that I thought that I know everything about finance when I came to US. But I found out that even with the simple, very simple stuff, it is very challenging for me. For example, renting an apartment, even buy a car with a credit card, it is working totally different compared with Ukraine. So it is a big difference between financial systems in different countries. And I understood that if I'm struggle with this, yes, who knows everything about it? How people who doesn't have such experience also feeling about that. But also another reason, when I used to work as a financial advisor in Vanguard, I had some clients who live all their entire life in US and they still struggle with this. And especially it was very sad that some women, when they lost the loved one, they didn't know what they have to do because before their husband managed all the money and everything. Yeah. And now they worry. They went to financial advisors, speak with them. But I have a feeling that just to give to someone else your money and do whatever they want, of course, they are professionals.
Of course.
It's still do not give these people confidence. Yes.
And it's
because
not, you don't have your independence too, right? Like the confidence and independence. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel that even if they will knew just a little, yes, they work with financial advisors, but at least the people will know what this financial advisor is doing for them, why he's doing it. And because always it is up and down in the economy, and it will be some moment when the economy will go down and people start to worry. But at least if you prepare, you will feel more confident. You know that it is not forever. Everything will be fine at the end. Yeah. So that is why in the one moment I thought that it is maybe a good idea. And actually, to say the truth, I still prefer to educate people than just give like them advice. Yes. Because when I gave them advice, it is like my view. Yes. On what they have to do. But when I educate them, their responsibility, and as a result, yes, it is a confidence.
Yeah. And I guess too, when they have that information and they have that, like that education, then you can give them some advice on something. And then because you've also given them the education, then they can ask questions that are a bit more relevant, that maybe they understand the answers a bit more too, right? And
exactly. Yeah.
And just how you were talking about just helping either women that now have to take their financial responsibility on themselves, or like new immigrants to the country. I think of myself, like when I moved overseas, and even like we lived in the US for 1 year as well. When you aren't from that country, like you were saying, like the rules and the laws and so many things are different. You don't know. And it's funny how people assume that you know. Like even I remember having to go to a medical appointment in the US, and I didn't know that I know that we had insurance through my husband's company, but I didn't know that the insurance card is only for specific offices, like specific doctors. And like I didn't know. I went into one lab and I got kind of scolded by a person that worked there that I was in the wrong place. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I'm not from here. So and that's medical, it's not financial, right? But and then I think too in Singapore, because we were there on my husband was there on a work permit and I was on a dependent pass, I was not allowed to open my own bank account. So my husband had to co-sign to open a bank account for me. You know, it's like all these things. So it's like I think what you're doing is so fantastic, and just offering that kind of information and education for people that just wouldn't know. And then, like you say, they don't necessarily need to be an immigrant, just people that just don't have that information, versus having an advisor that's just going to like tell you how it is, you know? And I love that you have education for teenagers as well. I feel like that is something I don't know about the US, but in Canada, financial literacy is not taught in school.
Exactly. You know, actually, the teenagers, this idea came to me even when I have been in Ukraine, because in one day I found out that my oldest kids, who grew up in their family of bankers, they didn't know anything about financial systems. They didn't know absolutely nothing. And I said, oh my God, if even my kids didn't know anything, what we can speak about, yes?
Yeah.
And for young adults, it is very important because they have the whole life and they have a lot of opportunities for that. So if you start early, as much early as you can achieve incredible results.
Yes.
And it is not very hard. It is very small steps.
Yeah.
Just like a habit. You have to have this habit. And after that, it is go smoothly in, and each and every year you will see the result.
Absolutely. How has your experience impacted your views on the concept of success?
Huh.
I don't, do
Okay.
you understand
If
it?
it, yeah, I understood. It is okay. I would say again, I all the time return to my previous life, yes, but in end of 2021 or 2022, for me, I have a very good life. Yes, I was traveling a lot. I'm working on the projects which only inspire me, not because I have to pay the bills. I had an excellent husband. I had
Yeah.
a beautiful. So it looks like success. And I
Yes.
thought, yes, it is success. Yeah, I settle all my life. Everything is fine. But literally in one day, everything is changed. Yeah. So now I think that success much simple, much more simpler right now for
Yeah.
me, but I believe it was a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So this success is just, peace of mind. You
Yeah.
just to be in a good mental health, yeah, in peace of mind, and knowing that everything is healthy, everything is safe, and everyone is happy. And all the rest, which is usually we say success.
Yeah.
You can build again. You
Yes.
can do it. But for that, you need to have a knowledge. And to have a knowledge, you need to all the time to learn something. And as I said to my kids, even if you think that right now you don't need it, yes, at all, yes, you don't need it because you do not understand what for you are studying. In the one moment, maybe after 20 years, yes, it will came to you and
Yeah.
help you in some point of time. Yes,
Yeah.
these knowledges. Yeah.
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 That's such a great answer. And it's like I think we have like a stereotype of what all of us aim for success. But
Exactly.
when you're kind of there and you have it all kind of pulled out from you,
Yeah.
but to build again, it's
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing. Yeah. And then the role on financial literacy, which I think we've already kind of touched on, but how do you see it playing in empowering young people and in the marginalized communities?
Okay, yes, it is as I said, I believe that this financial literacy for the young people, it is just again not about only the knowledge. It is about building independency and confidence. It is for me the most important thing. So they have to learn from the basic, yes, how to build a budget, how to avoid the debt traps, how to start savings, even if you have a very, very small salary. Don't wait when you will have a huge salary and after that, maybe I will do my savings. No, it doesn't work like that. It
Yeah.
will always will be not enough. So this literacy, I believe, I'm repeating myself, but I believe the most powerful tools for confidence. Yes.
Right. I wonder too, you're saying about not to wait till you have like the big salary. I feel like from the people that I know, and obviously I'm not an expert, and so I'm kind of just generalizing from the people I know. I feel like the people that I know that have money, they tend to spend less.
Yeah.
People that have less money, it's that kind of instant gratification culture. It's the coffee culture, like you go and you spend your $7 to $10 on your specialty coffee. And I think sometimes people think, well, I'm never going to be that billionaire, millionaire, or whatever. I'm never gonna afford that. So I might as well get my $7 coffee. So
Eh,
I guess that I'm assuming is a part of that kind of financial literacy of just understand kind of where you're at and what you can afford. And that $7 might not seem like that much, but that multiple times of $7, that could be your
Exactly.
savings.
Exactly. Because, okay, I just calculated. It is exactly about coffee. It is the most powerful example because in the moment when you will sit down, I know it is very boring, and create a budget and put all your expenses in the one, sheet, you will see how much you spend, for example, for coffee. And as you correctly said, yeah, this $7 coffee, it is in the month, it is $200 actually. Yes. And if you put this $200 savings, you shouldn't forget about compound interest. Yes. And it will be increasing very dramatically. Yes. Each and every month, each and every year. $200, per month, it is actually 2,000 and a half dollars per year. Yeah. So it is a lot of savings you
Wow.
can do. Yeah. Yeah. So the small step, but you will never feel it. Yes, because it is just $7 today. I even forget about it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you will put it in the table and you will see coffee and total amount per month. After that, I don't know, something else which is not important for you. And you will also see how much you can save
Yeah.
if you will not do it. And after that, you have to plan. Of course, it doesn't mean that you have to forget about everything which brings you joy in
Of
your life.
course. Yeah.
But
You have
you
to allow
have to,
yourself some joy for sure.
of course, yeah. But after that, you will have, like to set up, for example, 10% from your total budget. I can spend whatever I wish.
Do you have
And
any advice for I feel like years ago we used to just deal with, I guess people would have credit cards, of course people would have checks and cash. And so you would know, like if you had $50 cash in your wallet, you knew how much was left if you paid for something, right?
yeah,
I find now so often it's a tap culture. So it's like
yeah,
we're tapping our phones, we're tapping our credit cards,
yeah.
and how like I feel like it's possibly an opportunity to kind of lose sight of how much money you're spending because you're just like tap tap, you know? Do you see that in your industry and with some of the people you're trying to give advice to?
Um,
Or am I just frivolous?
but it is everything depends of the people. Yes, for example, some of the people feel comfortable. It is like old fashioned. They're just putting in envelopes. Yeah, so these envelopes, for example, for the grocery. Yeah, these envelopes for pleasure and so on. But it is like old fashioned cash. But now, as you correctly said, it is taping, and it means that first of all we have right now in current world, we have a lot of tools which you can connect with all your spendings. And after that, it goes like based on the category. And at the end, you have like a nice table and you will see where you spend your money. Or you can go in the, again, almost old fashioned, just print out your statement at the end. And after that, go one by one and put in the Excel table and to see how you spend it. Um, it is, but in any way, you have to control it.
Yeah. I just find it's funny. Like I think about this just because a lot of companies don't take cash anymore. You try to pay cash or you have the person that's working there, something could be $17.38. You hand them a 20 and they don't know how to give change. Like
Yeah,
the younger
exactly.
generation, they just kind of like stare at you.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, but it is a lot of tools. You even can connect your bank account, yes, with this tool, and it will generate all of your expenses. You have to check it, yes, to mark it. Yes, for example, this is one for I don't know, grocery, this one medicine,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't do it, manually because sometimes it is a lot and very boring. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's where it's great too to have
Yeah.
someone find someone like you that can kind of coach them through how to set it
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm by trade an artist, right? And stereotypically, we're not great with our finances. So uh, I
I
just
always
laugh.
said you shouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
also not great in artist.
I kind of laugh because my husband listens to every episode, and this one he's going to be like, yeah, she's not that great with her money.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard because I come from a freelance industry. I mean, my husband's the breadwinner of our family, like, to be honest, but but I was a single mom for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's just like when you're in an industry where it's, they call it like feast or famine. So it's not like you're not getting a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. It's like you only get paid as per project that you're working on. And sometimes that's hard. That must be hard
Exactly.
to kind of like for you to give advice to people. I mean, maybe that's not hard for you, but to give advice to people that don't have a regular income. Like, do you have any advice for someone like that?
Okay, there, if we are going, first of all, yes, we covered the basics. Doesn't matter how regular your income, you need to have your budget and you need to know how much money you need each and every month. The
Right.
second rule, especially for the people, yes, from who do not have each and every 2 weeks a paycheck, you need to have a savings, yes. And the savings usually, generally, how the savings is calculating. It is calculating that, for example, if tomorrow, even if you are working for the some company, yeah, if tomorrow you lose your job, you have to have on your savings emergency account, we call it, from 3 to 6 salary. It is also depending on the industry, on the how many kids do you have,
Right.
how fast you will find a new job, yes, but at least the smallest number, it is 3 months salary. It is
Right.
absolutely the same rule, more or less, for the people who doesn't have regular income. In any way, they have to have like this emergency fund,
Right.
which covers they expenses, and it is again this, it is the smallest 3 months, but it is better like 6 months because we don't know how much money I will have this month, but at least I have to know that I
Yeah.
have enough for my expenses to
Yeah.
cover my expenses, which I couldn't avoid. Yeah, so this emergency fund, it is especially for such types of situation. It means that you couldn't, for example, invest this money for the long perspective as retirement.
Right.
You have to have easy access to this
Right.
money all the time because it is emergency if something happens.
And an emergency does not mean like that cute black dress that you see in the window.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to your kids. So are your kids like, do you feel like they have the financial literacy?
I hope so.
You're like, fingers crossed.
The smallest one, because it is okay, he lives with me. That is why it is the most easiest way,
Yeah.
yes, to control him.
Yeah.
Actually, first of all, he studied a lot. His first course was when he was 10 years old. We were living in Ukraine. I
Yeah.
found for him it was calling investment for young adult. Yeah, in New
Okay. Yeah.
York. In New York Institute of Finance, it was online course, yeah, and it was from 10 to 16 years old. He was the smallest one, but it was a time when he received his first money from his dad just for investing, yes, and his dad told he had to do all his mistakes right now
Yeah.
just to avoid them in future. Now he is very interested in it, and even in our non-profit, he participating and he facilitate financial gain. Yes, we have in our community because people usually. Even my brother-in-law, when I start to telling him about retirement account, he starts telling me that he feels sick after that. Yes, he doesn't like he
No.
doesn't like it. Yeah. So, and that is why we have almost on the regular basis, we are trying to do it twice per month. Our financial game where the people in very relaxing atmosphere just playing this game about
Yeah.
financial literacy, which is, it is like icebreaker for
Yeah.
financial literacy. And this game facilitate my smallest son.
Okay.
So yeah. So I hope.
Do you know what he wants to do for a job when he's?
Yeah, actually, he wants to build some business, and he's still thinking about finance because he's very interesting. But he's interesting not any type of finance. He's interested mostly in investing part.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has all these S&P 500 indexes. He monitor it. He learn it. So okay.
Your older sons, what do they want to do?
My oldest son, so one of my oldest sons, he studied computer science in
Mhm.
Ottawa, yeah, right now. And another one, he graduated from marketing, but now he starts studying like political science. And
Okay.
actually, it was his passion from the young age. He was very small. He knows everything about politics. He knows everything. Yes, if you have any question about anything which is related to politics in any country, you can answer this question.
That's great. That's definitely not me. I find politics so hard to wrap my head around, and I'm constantly
Yeah,
like watching documentaries and things. And I feel like the more I try to learn, the more confused I get. So I'll
yeah,
stick to art.
but it's very nice.
Yeah.
I'm always jealous to people who is very close to arts.
Well, I feel like, I mean, you work with numbers, right? I know there's obviously there's very specific math, but I feel that helps with the creative brain.
Okay, the piano, am I correct? Say pianist, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
people who is play piano,
Yeah.
they are the best. They know very well math, yeah, because it is somehow connected. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
It's interesting because my youngest daughter, she speaks Mandarin that she
Mhm.
learned when we were in Singapore. And when we came to Canada for her to start high school, she needed to do a year of French because you need one French
Yeah,
credit. And she didn't have any French because she went to the Singapore American school.
yeah.
And she's very, very good in math. And so we had a French tutor, and the I can't remember exactly how she explained it, but she said, those that are good in math can figure
Uh-huh.
out French because there's some sort of relation, but apparently there's just some connection between math and French. But
Yeah, you
have
see
you have
everything connected.
yeah. So have you found you must have found like a good community for yourself in the US now?
Yes, it is first of all, if someone asks me about US, what is the best part of US, I always say that it is people. Yeah. So it is so nice people, very open, supportive, kind. I have excellent neighbor. I had a very, very good co-workers when I work in this fund. Even clients, because I always worry about my strong accent. I always worry that people will not understand me, and it is my
Yeah.
psychological thing. But the clients was so supportive. They were so patient with me, so I love them very much. So yes, yeah, it is actually my first of course, my sister lives here. I'm lucky that I have her just 3 minutes away from me, and my neighbors, my people in our
Yeah.
small
Yeah.
city. Yeah, it is very great community. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I had noticed too, you had said that you were waiting for the nonprofit approval.
Yeah.
So has that
Yeah.
come through yet, or are you still waiting?
So it is, what does it mean? It is IRS approval. It means that if the people, give some money and so on, they can deduct from their tax. Yeah. It is only this. No, everything is registered. We just need it for the tax purpose. So
Right.
it means that, the people have reduced this tax base, yes, for this amount. And this is usually takes 12 months. So we are on the half of way. We believe that we will receive it till the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it is only for the tax purpose. It
Oh,
will
okay.
do
Well,
much more easier. Yeah.
well, no, but that's great. So then I didn't know that, but that and maybe I don't know, is that like a state to state thing? Do you know, or is it all of the U.S. that?
No, it is all of the US.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is like a federal law
You're right.
that if you receive, it is, for the some non-profit, it is very easy process to receive this status. But for the financial literacy, it is go under education. That is why this process is much more longer, because
Yeah.
we gave all the information, what we are going to teach, what we are going to do to IRS, and
Yeah.
IRS after that will grant us this status.
Yeah. For that, now that you are in your 50s too, how has How has that been for you being in the US and in your 50s and starting over with some things? Like, do you find that that has been impactful, or you've had so much in your life that turning 50 was the least of your worries?
No, it is actually, it is interesting because first of all, I was deny everything. I will say that I don't want to start over. Why I have to start over? I am already have a good life, but I accept it, and it looks like that new horizons open for me. And actually, one more thing which I would like to say, it is when I come back and start to work as a financial advisor here in US. I was part of the program, Return to Work program. And I was surrounded with incredible women, and all of them over the 50. So they come back to work not because they have to. It is just because they want it. It is just, they raise all kids, they settle their lives, they don't have to pay mortgages, everything is settled, but they believe that they want to move forward. And it is, for me, I also feel like that. It is like, just new chapter of your life. It is totally different from your 20s because you can allow yourself much more. The kids are already adult. You, in any way, have some baggage behind of you. So you can, to do much more things which you wouldn't be able to do when you have been 20 years old.
Right.
So it is a very interesting
Yeah.
period of life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting because a lot of my guests, we've talked about, pivoting. So whatever your career path was previously, or whatever was going on in your life previously, it's like a lot of women feel like in their 50s, they're suddenly, like you were saying, like your kids are grown up, you don't, like now what kind of thing. And it's the pivot of taking on new adventures, whether it be a new career or a new hobby, or, there's a bit of that. And I feel like every guest that I've had has had some sort of message where maybe not it's been exactly worded, but it's been implied that you're never too old in 50s, and like it's just opening up more opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And I guess
exactly.
too, it's like when you have that confidence and independence and, just the doors are wide
Yeah,
open.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Iryna. I really appreciate your time and your story. And so are you able to take clients like across the US, or it's only in your state that you take clients?
No, we are taking clients across the US because it is only about educational. It is not about advising, yes,
Okay.
because only about education. So
Okay.
we can do across US.
Okay, perfect. I will also, like in the show notes, I'll have the link to your website, and if you have like social media, like your Instagram and
Okay.
everything as well, I'll link that. But just for our listeners right now, your website is stepstonewhorizons.com. So it's stnhorizons.com.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Iryna.
Thank you so much for that you invited me, first of all.
Yeah.
Yes, I listening a lot of your podcast. I
Oh,
love
thank
it.
you. Thank you
I
so much.
really love it. Yes. And, for some reason, I don't know why, but I feel very connected to Canada. Yeah.
Well, I'm also
I love
too, like with your
Canada.
sons and everything too, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. If
Thank
you
you.
find yourself in Toronto, please send me an email. We can go for coffee. So
Thank you. Yes, sure. Great conversation.
thanks for tuning in to the Fuck You 50s. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to follow and rate the podcast. And we would love to connect with you on Instagram. So be sure to follow us at the Fuck You 50s. The Fuck You 50s is hosted by Andrea Claire. See you next time.